Okay, today we're going to go over just some basic sculpture tips. So first thing, when you are making a sculpture, a lot of times we use things like recyclables. So these kind of boxes, these food boxes, Kleenex boxes, these are all really great, but I want you to start to think about how you can transform these boxes so that they don't just look like food boxes anymore. For example, this is a granola bar, protein bar box. For something like this, it's really easy to deconstruct and then put it back together. I'm able to deconstruct by tearing it at the seams where it's already been glued. Just kind of carefully peeling it apart where there are flaps. That gives me something like this. Now, if I need that box shape back, I can easily fold it back and kind of put it back together, but put it back together backwards. So use the folds to my advantage, just fold them the opposite direction. And then glue it back together. Okay, so the other thing that you'll notice about me creating sculptures, so I've turned my boxes inside out to kind of give me a blank slate here, something that would be easily disguised. It would be easy for me to decorate or draw on this box now that it has this white surface. So when I am putting this box together inside out, I've added glue here, so there are a couple of different glues we can use. I really like tacky glue for sculptures. However, Elmer's glue is also a pretty good option for something like this. It is strong enough to hold these seams. If you have tacky glue is a better option. And this, of course, is if we're not able to use a hot glue gun. Hot glue is probably the best thing to use for this, so keep that in mind. If we're not using hot glue, we have tacky glue or Elmer's glue. So what I want you to notice here is I've glued in here, I put glue on the seam. Now I'm using a clothespin to hold it together while it is drying, or I can even use a little bit of tape here on the seam to hold while it's drying too. So I have a couple of different options. Obviously, my first suggestion is a clothespin. That way we don't have to waste tape, but if for some reason we don't have access to clothespins, tape is a second option. So from here, I'm going to add some images on the front of this box. I think I will turn it into a house. I've cut the bottom off, and when I add this to my base, I will probably glue down here. Okay, so I've added some images to this box. I'm turning it into a marketplace. So I do want to mention, it was a little bit tricky to draw on this while it was in this box shape, because when I put my hand on here, this starts to cave in a little bit. So the way to avoid that is if you already have an idea in mind, you could draw on this when it's completely open. If you're someone like me who sometimes gets your ideas as you're making, when you're drawing on this box, just make sure that you're being really careful and really light. Okay, so I've added some details to my sculpture, and now I need to think about what's next. So if it is just this, that's fine. But if I'm going to add on to this, I probably want to start to think about a base. So when you are making a sculpture, choosing a base or using a base is one of your most important decisions. So a base is the bottom of your sculpture. Some sculptures will need a base, some won't. But if you're finding that you're having a hard time kind of keeping your objects together, a base is a great place to start. Now, when you're choosing a base, you want to find something that is sturdy. Cardboard from a box is a great option for a base. Paper is not going to work. Thin cardboard like from a food box is not going to work. You need to make sure that it's thick and sturdy. So I'm going to use this piece of a box as my base. I'm going to glue this onto my base. Okay, so you'll notice I've added some glue around the edge. I'm going to try this first. So if this doesn't work, I might have to cut some tabs. Now I'm going to use some scrap cardboard to add some details to the rest of my sculpture. Food boxes are really great for sculpture because they're easy to cut. Okay, so main points to think about when you are starting to explore cardboard sculpture. Food boxes, you can easily peel them apart and reconstruct them so that the inside is on the outside so that you have a blank canvas to work from. If you are making a sculpture, do you need a base? Do you need something at the bottom to hold all of your pieces together? If you do, make sure that it's thick and sturdy. And also, when you are exploring cardboard sculpture, make sure you have the appropriate glue. Hot glue is probably the easiest thing to use. However, hot glue is not always available, so tacky glue is great. And if you're using regular glue, you're going to need clamps, something to hold, or tape, masking tape as well will work.